Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Automation Hub Sathak. And in continuation with Java videos in English, today we are going to learn a very important concept, that is interface. So let's first understand what is an interface, why do we use interface, and why we use in what is the use of interface in Selenium. We'll discuss all of it. So let's directly jump into the code and understand, and we'll write the interview questions over there itself. So let's go ahead. Learning Java, I will make a new package. Let's say the package name is understanding interface. Okay. So uh, you know how to create a class in Java. Okay, when you make a package, you right click, go to new, and you make a class. Similarly, here you have to, instead of class, you will see there is an interface mentioned over here. Just write interface. Okay, now there are a lot of questions wherein people ask you, shall I make it a uppercase or lowercase or something like that. So it totally depends. It doesn't really matter. You just go ahead and do whatever you want to. So I'll just write concept interface as the name of the interface. Okay, so this is the interface which I have created. Now, before I go into interface coding, let's understand what is an interface. So, uh, interface in Java is a reference type. Okay, see, the interviewer might ask you what is interface, tell me what you know about interface, and there are certain things which you should know. Interface is pure abstraction. Okay, that means hiding. Now, what is the next thing? Interface is collection of abstract methods. You can say something like this. And then what is the exact technical definition of interface? You can say a class implements an interface, thereby inheriting the abstract methods of an interface. A class a class implements an interface, thereby inheriting all the abstract methods of the interface. That is one thing. Also, alongside abstract methods, interface may also contain constants, default methods, static methods, and various kind of nested types. So we can write here interface consists of interface can contain rather than can contain, you can say constants, default methods. I'm not going to create all of them. We'll just create few of them. Static methods, okay, nested types, okay, and anyways, abstract methods are always there. Okay, so this is one thing. And now you can also say that method bodies inside an interface exist only for default methods and static methods. What is this? Let's write it. Method bodies in interface only exist for default and static methods and not others. Okay, and one more thing, main method is also allowed in interface. So this is something purely about interface. Okay, so now, and there is one more thing. Whatever declaration you do, whatever data types or variables you declare, by default they are final in nature. Any declaration of a data type in interface is final in nature. Okay, so it cannot be changed. So you just cannot go over and change, like let's say int I equals to 10 and again you write I equals to 20. No, it doesn't work. Int I equals to 10 means I has been fixated to 10, that has been finalized to 10. That is what. So if you go for an interview and you can say these things to uh, I think the interviewer will be more or less be like, okay, fine, this guy knows something theoretically. Let's see whether he can actually understand something which is in coding format. So let's understand this. Now, if you remember one of the this one row number 10, I said method bodies in interface only exist for default and static methods. What about the other methods? Do they not have method bodies? So how do you write them? And I also said in row number 7, collection of abstract methods. So let's design an abstract method. So what I'll do is I'll write public void, let's say method 1. I'm just writing. If I go ahead and make, see, it is giving an error. It is throwing an error because it will say, if you mouse over on that error, it will say abstract method do not specify a body. So typically it cannot. Now I have written static method can have a body. So now this error goes away. So this thing is actually true. If in an interface you want to have a method with a body, you have to use static keyword. If you are not using static keyword, then you cannot have the method body. You can directly uh, remove this, remove this, and just give a semicolon. This is it. This is an abstract method. So interface is pure abstraction and it is a collection of abstract methods. So it is one abstract method. So all our concept which we have learned theoretically, we will do that in this particular fashion. Now, instead of method 1, which looks very ordinary, let's go ahead and write something related to which is makes sense. Okay, public void, first I'll write, let's say, launch URL. Okay, this is our first method. Now let me write something, public void login. Okay, this is also an abstract method. Let me write public void landing page validation. This is another method. Okay, let me write public void select item. This is another abstract method. Public void add to cart. This is another abstract method. Okay, public void uh, payment. This is abstract method. Okay, public void logout. All these are abstract methods, and abstract methods are, these are the collection of abstract methods inside this interface. This is the name of the interface, and these are the abstract methods which I have written over here. Okay, now I also said, now if I do if I try to execute this interface, you will not be able to say run configurations. So because you do not have anything to run this with. Okay, now I also said that okay, method bodies in interface only exist for default and static methods. So let us do one thing. I will write a static method, public static void, how do I say, token validation, for example. So this is a static method. Now your next question is, can I give static to an abstract method? Let's see. If I make this one, what will it do? It will throw an error that add body. So always remember, this is a very confusing interview question. Okay, please remember this. In interface, can I make a static method abstract? Very, very important question. Answer is no. You will have to add the body. You have to add the body to a static method in an interface. If you want to make an abstract method, you cannot give abstract method and They cannot be static. Simple. This is what you have to understand, that you cannot give static to an abstract method. And if you are making, if you're giving static to a method, you have to give the body of it. Okay, now here you can write something like this. This is token validation. Okay, now will it be executed? Again, no. So how do you execute? Let's introduce a main method. I've also said main method is also allowed in interface. So let's execute main method. So I'll write public static void main string args. Simple. This is the main method inside the interface. So let me run this. If I run this, it will give us the output. This is the main method inside the interface. Now main method is static in nature, so let me call this method here directly. Okay, so very good. This is token validation. See, all concepts of static and non-static also work inside an interface because it is allowing main method. This was not allowed before Java 8, but after Java 8 came into picture, all these things have been allowed in interface. Okay, now this much is understood. Now we'll understand how to establish relationship between class and an interface, because I told here a class implements an interface, thereby inheriting the abstract methods of the interface. So let us make a class, okay, which will so see this concept interface, this name of the interface I don't like, so let me rename it because I find it very ordinary. So instead I will write, let's say the name of the interface is shopping. Okay, that will sound much better, that shopping is the name of the interface. Okay, finish, irrespective. So this is shopping interface. Now let us make a class. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll make a class, and I'll name the class as user. I'll make the class as user. Okay, I'll not give the main method. I'll make the class as user. Okay, now what I'll do is, if you go into the shopping interface, it says a class implements an interface, thereby inheriting the abstract methods of the interface. Now I've created a class user. Does this user class implement shopping? No, it does not. In its current state, it does not. So what to do? It has to implement. So use the implements keyword and write the name of the interface, shopping. Now again the error will not go. Why? Because as per the definition, as per the concept, a class implements an interface. This one is done, implements is done, but it follows thereby inheriting the abstract methods of the interface. And how many abstract methods we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abstract methods we have. So what to do? You just hover over this mouse, it will say please inherit all this. So just go over here and click add unimplemented methods. Go on to the class which has a red underline, okay, and just click on add unimplemented methods. You will see all those methods would be implemented right now. Okay, you see, this is again very correct. You have done this, no problem. So now you are able to inherit this. Okay, so launch URL and all these methods have been inherited, okay, sorry, implemented by this class, particular class. Now let's say for example you will say, okay fine, I want my own method as well. Class will have, user will say I have my own token ID. Will I be allowed? Yes, you will be allowed. Why you will not be allowed? Obviously you will be allowed. It's like users personal token ID. So you will be allowed to create your own method inside the class even if that class is implementing the interface. See, when the class is implementing the interface, it actually does this. It inherits the abstract methods of the interface. This thing is done. That does not mean that it is devoid of creation of its own methods. It can. It will have this as well as these. So it is as simple as that. You don't have to think too much. Now let us actually go ahead and try to create a relationship between these things. Okay, now what I'll do is I will go ahead and create an execution class. Okay, so I'll create a class like test, and here I will give the main method. Okay, so now I'm defining the main method. I'll finish it. Now, question number one, what did I tell you in when I wrote about interface? Interface is pure abstraction. So in this particular test class, can I create the object of shopping interface? Like shopping equal to new shopping. Can I do this? It is not allowed. It will say you cannot instantiate the type shopping because you cannot create the object of interface. Very, very important interview question. You cannot create the object of interface, because if you start creating object of the interface, then technically you are violating the principle of abstraction. What is the purpose of hiding something if you are able to refer it from anywhere and everywhere? Makes no sense. So this thing is not possible. Okay, now what next can I do? I can create the object of the class. So I can write user equals to new user. This is fine. This is absolutely fine. Why? Because user is a class and I can create the object of a class. No big deal. Now what I can do is I can use this object reference and I can access the inherited methods of the interface shopping. So I have so many inherited methods: launch URL, login, landing page, validation, etc. etc. Dot launch, sorry, launch URL. So I can have landing page validation. I can inherit everything, all the methods I can inherit. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and write launch, login, landing page validation, launch, login, landing page validation. Then I will write, I keep forgetting, select icon, add to item, payment, select item, add to cart, payment. I think the last one is logout. See, I can get everything. So now let us run this. It did not execute. Now what is happening? Oh God, something is not right. Wait. Oh guys. So what I did mistake was I did not give any output over here. So let us go and give here some output like launch URL is a method inherited from interface, something like that. So I'll just copy paste this line everywhere and I'll change it. So I'll just change this login. Okay, and I'll change page validation. This is, I'm just giving it like that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and change it later. So here it will be logout. Here it will be payment. Here it will be add to cart, and that's mostly it. Okay, here it is select item. Okay, fine, cool. Now let's execute this. So we are getting everything right. All the inherited methods of interface is coming over here in the output. Now you know that you cannot create the object of this particular interface, but you can create the object of the class. Now, can we do what you call as top casting? In my previous video, I explained. What did I say in my previous video? When the object of the child class is referred by the reference variable of the parent class. Here, similar terms we can use interface. Okay, so what is the name of our interface? Shopping. So we can use something like shopping equal to new user. Now this is possible. Great. Now using shopping, let me do one thing. Let me try and access this gentleman. Token validation. Is it possible or not? Because this token validation is a static method inside the interface shopping. So let me see if I can access. It is not accessing. So what is the problem? Why it is not accessing? See, the object reference is not able to access that. So what to do? How to get this thing accessed directly? See, from shopping, I can do rest of the things like launch URL and all. Everything will come, no problem. All the abstract methods can go from here. But what if I want to get this? How will I get this token validation? I want this code to be executed. I want the logic inside this particular method to be pulled over here. So how do I do this? Directly. What do you mean directly? Directly go by the shopping dot token validation. In case you are trying to call a static method, okay, inside another class wherein you want to do your execution, you cannot call by the object reference. Directly call them. No problem, it will work absolutely fine. So these are the few basic things which you need to understand, that this is how your things are going to work. As simple as that. There is no big deal. One second, guys, I'm getting a call. Okay, guys, now there is one thing you could ask yourself by using, see, this particular method, static method inside the interface shopping, token validation. This we have not called in the test class using this reference, user dot token validation. Can you get it? You're not able to. Okay, so it is not allowing. Now let's do one thing. Let's play a little bit of game here, and let me make this method, override this method public static. Let us see if I am able to override this same method inside the class. Okay, now CISO, this one is class token validation. Now if I go here, user dot token validation, it will call this thing directly. Okay, so what is the warning it gives? Okay, so okay, this is calling itself directly. So let's run this particular code. Class token validation, it is working. Okay, but you will not be able to access this. This is not allowed. You cannot access this. You can only access this directly by the interface. You cannot use the reference of the class object to access any static method of interface. This is a very, very important concept. Please note this. If someone is very good in Java, he or she will confuse you thoroughly. Please remember this. Okay, so that's mostly it. Apart from that, the shopping will almost call everything. No need to call main method, but yes, all these things it will call. You can, if you want, let me, I'll also write this shopping dot login, it will call shopping dot landing page validation, it will call shopping dot select item, it will call shopping dot add to cart, it will call shopping dot logout, oh god, log out also it will call. Okay, so now these things are done. So in case you want to call the static method of the interface, call it directly via the interface name. You cannot call it by any reference. It is not gonna work. Even this particular fellow cannot call launch token validation. It cannot call token validation. So this is not allowed. Now let's say for example, there is another interview question. Let's say about this. I said, okay, yes, the last point. Any declaration of a data type in interface is final in nature. So let's say I have declared int I equals to 10 here. Okay. Now, if I write I equals to 20, it will not work. It will throw an error because it is interface. In interface, you cannot. You just cannot. It is not allowed. It is final in nature. Now you want to access I. How do you access I? Will you be able to access like this? Shopping dot I. So you have to give a certain value equal to 20. Will you be able to change this value? Or will you have to keep it 10? What will happen here? So now if I don't give this shopping.I, so what is happening here? Insert variable declarators to complete this. So technically speaking, if you want to call these things, okay, we'll do one thing. Sys shopping.I. Okay, as simple as that. So let's execute this. It's 10. So you just cannot change the value, it will remain the same. You cannot do a self declaration of these things that okay, I want to change it from 10 to 20 to 20 to 30. No, once you have declared anything in an interface, any variable and the value of it remains the same. You just cannot change. Let's say for example, you write string name equal to selenium, and here you want to call it, so just call it directly shopping dot name. You cannot change anything. You cannot change. I mean, if you try and act smart and write here string name equals to, let's say, Java, and try and call, I mean, you want to see the output printed over here, it will still call selenium. It will not call this fellow, because this actually becomes writing it here or writing it here doesn't make any difference, because this belongs to the class, not to the interface. Because I was continuing with interface. See, this is the way people will confuse you. I just gave a bit of confusion here. This is not gonna change anything. This will call itself. So remember, anything which you declare in interface is final in nature. This gentleman will not change its value. Now, can I make anything static? Will it work? Yes. So it will work. As simple as that. So now your question will be, can I call user with those things? Can I call the reference using name? See what it will throw. It has to be called in a static way. Or creation of object is not a static way. You cannot. Please remember, all the concepts of static and non-static creation of objects falls under non-static category. Direct calling or calling static via static falls in the static category. So I have told these things in my previous videos. Please watch these. These are the ways your interviewer will confuse you, and this is how it will work. Okay, I'm getting a call, but one second, guys. Sorry, guys, I don't stop getting phone calls, anyways. So that's mostly this, and I hope you like this session. And please practice. There are a lot of ways when an interviewer will confuse you with these things. So please do practice, and as usual, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And thanks for liking and sharing my videos. Sathak here, signing off.